Alright, rock and roll. What are we doing today? Oh, crap.
The channel has 295 videos and 40 plus of those are pop song videos. That's a ton of room to screw up. Scripted or not, I've made my fair share of mistakes, whether it was bad rambling or missed details in research. The point is, I've made plenty of errors, and it's time to fix them. For this video, a mistake could refer to a list placement, a fact I incorrectly stated, or a generalized apology for something.
It'll be a fun journey. For both of us.
No gimmicks or excuses, just some channel history. Let's begin, shall we? This song was a lot of fun for the genre cod reggae.
Nothing like leading off with the biggest mistake I made. Or at least the one I regret the most.
I have this bad habit of hearing buzzwords and appropriating them into my vocabulary. It may have something to do with wanting to sound smarter.
And nothing makes you sound smarter than using a word that means the opposite of what you want it to mean.
Cod reggae, as I understand now, is a term referring to white musicians making Caribbean-sounding music. Its original context was used to demean artists making this stiff, culturally ambiguous sludge. If you don't like UB40, it's easy to call them cod reggae. Now, it is possible to use it in a positive context. The term has softened to the point where, say you like Rude by Magic, you can call it cod reggae.
It's not a genre.
I still think this is the cringiest thing I've ever said on camera. I was rambling, and I said a word I didn't completely understand. It's not a big surprise that I started scripting lists less than a year later.
Whew, that felt good. Let's keep going. Shit, I forgot how bad at this I used to be.
When I started doing pop music, all of my videos ranged from 10 to 30 seconds. I'd have a single idea for a criticism or observation and put it on camera. They were 15 minutes of work, and I think they hold up. So the end of 2014 hit, and I had this brilliant idea to keep the format and make a top 20 list.
It was a stupid idea.
Nobody wants to see some random guy give one sentence to explain why a list is ordered the way it is. Actually, there was no explanation, just the thing I hated most about the song. Everything could have been in any order and the video would have been just as terrible.
And it started a bit of a rivalry because one person gave me a comment. There weren't bad intentions. In fact, it was positive.
So a critic named Kevin and me happened to start at the same time, and I figured, who is this guy? Oh, he's making actual videos rather than the shit I was making. Maybe it makes sense that he has 10 times the subs that I do.
But we did have the same #1 for the worst of 2015, so we're cool.
And even through all of this turmoil and self-hatred for putting out such a wretched video, I had this great idea where I would do the list halfway through the year as well as at the end of the year. It was one of my best channel ideas.
But of course I was lazy, and I did it again.
Even after all the regret, all the second guessing, the like to dislike ratio, I did it again.
Maybe if there's a best list, people will like it.
Oh look, it did worse. Who would have figured? My excuse at the time was, this is what my subs are used to.
Yep, all 62 of them.
I want to take this opportunity to apologize for these. I figured it was good enough, and it was nowhere close to the effort I could have put into the videos.
Hell, I've always had Final Cut, and this is just a waste of the software. I could have had Windows Movie Maker and could have made the exact same stuff.
Since these videos, I've always stopped myself before cutting corners. I'm grateful there's a lesson learned here, but I'm completely embarrassed of these videos' existence. You all deserve better, and I'm sorry.
I can guarantee that these are the worst videos I will ever make. Phew. On to less substantial mistakes.
Honestly, I stood behind this opinion for so long. Every additional play was another nail in the coffin of hatred. I heard it so many times, and I just had to be different.
Fun fact, I am the only person to have this on their worst list for 2015. I take it back.
1 month ago, I heard it on the radio, and it finally clicked. Maybe it was the lack of overplay, or... No, it was definitely the lack of overplay.
It's hard to get fresh ears on a song when it's on at least one station at all times.
I can finally say it. Shut Up and Dance is a completely refreshing hit that came along with one of the best years of pop music in a long time. Not enough songs come around like it, and we could use more talented rock bands making pop music this digestible in every facet.
So where would this incredible perfection Best song of 2015 go on my best list. Honorable mention.
While being on the worst list was a mistake, I still think it's just good rather than great.
It's possible that hearing it too much may have negative effects.
But seriously, if it would have come out in a year not as amazing as 2015, it would have made a list. Way too much competition that year. It's Cool for the Summer by Demi Lovato. This one needs some explaining. To illustrate why I liked Cool for the Summer, I wanted to play the part of the song that swayed me from disliking it to liking it a great deal. This was the chorus, and I played it in its entirety without breaking the song up before and after.
The copyright gods did not approve of that.
While this made YouTube block the video, I happened to be at a party. I was not in the mood to have it be down, so I did what I could to get it back up as quickly as possible. I decided to cut the clip out entirely.
What I didn't realize at the time was taking an example out makes the most jarring cut.
And I'd like to point attention to 1/8 measure stanza in the middle of the song. This part of the song is honestly one of the... Hits you like a punch in the face, right? Nice edit, me. Yikes. Chalk it up as another learning moment. I've definitely figured out how to not keep one song playing straight for 2 minutes.
Now I just do it for 40 seconds. The funny thing about that is that isn't even a claim on Strip That Down.
Yay for growth. Next. But this, which is apparently the 5th single off of her 25 album, good job reading the Billboard Artist Charting page, dumbass. It's the 2nd single. It would have taken 4 seconds of common sense to figure that one out. Yet, here we are. Maybe this is the most embarrassing thing I've ever said. Idiot.
I took a pill in Ibiza to show Avicii I was cool.
If you watch my committee videos, you'll notice that both of the songs to make number 1 on the best lists were somewhere on my worst list. At the time, I felt the song was only popular because of the Sieb remix, which it was. I heard the original, felt emotionally drained by it, and went about my life assuming I'd never hear it again. After I forewent a pop best list in 2016, I was asked to make that very list on Twitter. I actually didn't make that list beforehand, so I put effort into making a genuine list for my own 2016.
I Took a Pill in Ibiza was my number 9 best.
Yes, I did eventually find room in my withered heart for the remix, except not in the way you might think.
This remix, it still sucks.
The emotional strength of the lyrics is still daunting, which, after this time, is an incredible testament to how good Mike Posner is here. It was the number 9 with the best lyrics of 2016, not because the production isn't effective.
It's quite effective at bastardizing modern EDM.
I should have applauded the choice to use a barely functional, minimalist failure of a beat to convey Posner's plight. It was a genius move, and I didn't truly appreciate it until now.
If this was any other song, oh boy.
The top 10 best songs of 2016.
Do you need a glass of water or something?
After the worst list, and I mean 5 minutes after the worst list came out, I was asked when the best list would be out.
It's actually pretty hard to work ahead on these lists. I usually work on them one at a time.
There was an urgency to get this video out, and I happen to be hoarse. I didn't realize I was inaudible until I began editing it together, and who honestly wants to redo that? It's a whole 20 minutes of work.
It also doesn't sound bad when the camera audio sounds way better. The unmiked camera audio.
You see, it's not bad when it's an off-the-cuff audio recording. We actually did the Mega Man 2 recording while I was still recovering from the throat ailment, and it made for some funny moments.
Your Cleveland Cavaliers. That sounded so fucking good. It sounded like a cartoon character.
In a group recording, it's worth the joke.
As one of the 3 most important videos of the year, it's trash. Lesson learned.
My number 1 game of the year is everybody's number 1 game of the year. It's Overwatch.
Overwatch should not have been my game of the year. I agonized over the choice until I was blue in the face.
Let me reiterate. My number 1 game of 2016 is Titanfall 2. In fact, Titanfall 2 may be a top 10 game of all time.
Titanfall 2 is the finest multiplayer FPS made since the golden age of Call of Duty. No other game allows so much fun out of traversing a map's landscape. A campaign from a COD hadn't hit me as hard as this one. I spent half of this year playing it as Overwatch got uninstalled because I felt no motivation to play it after I had the Platinum. It's still a good game, don't get me wrong, just move Titanfall to 1 and Overwatch to 5. That's been eating at me. Thanks, guys. These are the worst 10 songs of 2016 by YouTube Committee. Oh yeah, I just forgot that this was an honorable mention. Overlooked it when I was cobbling everything together. Here, this is what it would have looked like.
I want y'all to do this dance now. Juju on that beat, juju on that beat, juju on that, juju on that, juju on that beat. Now slide, chop, hit them for no stop. Hey.
I ended up finding 13 people who did best lists, and here they are, so hopefully these will suffice. There are not enough best lists.
When there aren't enough best lists, I improvised. 2015 was British reviewers. 2016 was one list that didn't really qualify as a best list. Double Agent's Top 10 Songs I'm Ashamed for Liking in 2016 is a great video. Go watch it.
The thing is, it isn't a best list.
A big part of the inclusion was because I wanted to use the best people for the lists. He didn't have a 2016 worst, and commenters kept asking me to use him, so I did, with a list that didn't exactly qualify. And the cherry on top, it had very little impact on the overall list, mainly because it wasn't completely pop hits. One song on that video made the list, and even if it was a 5-point takeaway, Heathens did end up getting second.
Sometimes there's just no winning.
They got Justin Harris on bass and Luis Bartle on drums.
Here's a fun one. Luis Bartle actually didn't do anything for this album. She joined Block Party after the album was past the recording phase.
She may not have participated in the album, but I think if she did, it would have turned out exactly the same.
In the video, I used live footage of the new lineup playing Like Eating Glass. This was a subtle choice of mine to show how she could handle Matt Tong's old stuff.
I feel bad for her. It looks like it's all too much.
She's doing a fine job keeping up with the song, but look at her. There's anguish in those eyes. There's no fun being had. Having to do what Matt Tong does on a regular basis is a hard feat, and it just isn't fair that they still even play the hits.
I'm sure if they played Fortress live, they'd kill.
This is unrelated to the initial error, but many have told me to check out their new single with the new lineup, Stunt Queen. It's fine.
Now you can stop telling me to check it out.
Maybe this album isn't actually that good.
Ooh, a twofer in this video. The background video I used here is Mercury. I listened to it too much in my iPod Nano days and hadn't heard it consistently in years.
Within the short time of editing this video together, I kinda realized that I love this song.
It's bombastic, super energetic, and the bass is plain addictive. Good stuff. But now that I've given Intimacy more attention, that's not the only song that's great. The lead-off single, Talons, is pretty swell. And that's not all. Halo, 1 Month Off, and Trojan Horse are also nifty. My new analysis of this album is, it's okay. Nothing more, nothing less. This is the exact same deal as Mercury. Over the course of editing, my opinion just about 180'd on this song. Almost everything I said works as positives.
I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I hate this sample.
Wrong. That's a quality sample. It makes the song energetic. The Stroke is a cool song, and it does make Eminem sound cooler.
Eminem has come from the electrifying, dangerous wordsmith to a pep rally MC telling you to get pumped.
What's wrong with that, huh? It's effective. It's way more energetic than the other shit from 2013.
And honestly, that's all I have to say.
And there's a subtle hint. I ran out of bad things to say pretty quick. Berserk still wouldn't make my best list, but it'd come close. Good song.
I didn't know that I was starving till I tasted you.
Yes, this song came out in 2016, but there's 2 reasons I used it for 2017. Number 1.
How uncivilized.
If anything, I put it on here for that gag alone. That line is so blunt, a spit take is honestly the best representation of how it makes me feel.
Admit it, you laughed.
The second reason is a little more abstract, and it comes from how many times I heard it this year as opposed to last. Sometimes my radio stations are behind the curve when it comes to playing songs that are popular, and this thing was everywhere from January to March. Its short run was better in December, but nobody places songs that late in the year in that list. I figured that'd be enough to get away with it.
I didn't anticipate the flood of disagreement.
I've never seen this many people cooperatively tell me that something I've done is wrong.
Other than every top 10 list where I picked the wrong stuff.
Yes, Starving both came out last year and did better last year, yet it made the so far for this year. If it's any consolation, it definitely won't be on the end of year.
And finally.
So the album did pretty good Billboard-wise. Must be good, right? Let's analyze. I rated every song individually from a 0 to a 5.
So written in the script, I gave the album a 33 of 110 and how many songs got each ranking. I didn't put down what each song got in the script, I put all of it on a post-it note.
To all of you aspiring scriptwriters out there, do not put important research information on a post-it note.
By the time I hit post-production and realized I had lost it, I reacted like every credible critic and said,
"Oh fuck, I'm not listening to More Life again. Everything is already recorded." I'll just guess what I put.
About a week after the video was released, I found the post-it note. For reference, here's what I said.
Out of the tracks, I gave Nothing a 5, 1 4, 2 3s, 9 2s, 5 1s, and 5 0s.
Here's what the post-it note actually said.
Out of the tracks, I gave Nothing a 5, 1 4, 2 3s, 9 2s, 5 1s, and 5 0s.
See, I was kinda close. I knew the 4 and most of the zeros. Anyways, don't use post-it notes for research. You'll lose them, end up rebutting it in a video later, and look like a dummy.
Well, that's it!
YouTube has been a fun learning curve for me, and I'd like to think I've ironed out a great deal of the kinks. My best lists are no longer a shitty onboard mic over video game footage.
I still have no idea why I thought anybody would want to watch that.
Hopefully this will also apply to the mistakes I make in the future. Maybe not suck at this.
If not, I'll see you again in another 3.5 years.
What a journey. An embarrassing, compromising journey. Don't be afraid to check out any of those videos I talked about here. They're great. If there's one I'd point the most attention to, it's this one. I'm not sure why.